I try. I really do. I try to put a positive spin on every ship in the Elite Galaxy, even if I inherently don't like the ship. But this time it's more of a challenge than normal because today we're dealing with this, the Asp Scout. This is the second least popular ship according to Inara, with only the Cobra Mark IV trailing behind it, and the Cobra Mark IV is only limited to a select few commanders regardless of its performance. So this is the least popular ship out of all of the ships that are available to all of the commanders in the galaxy. There are some commanders out there who would rather eat a turd sandwich than have an Asp Scout hidden in their hangar, let alone flying it around in the galaxy for everyone to see. You do get the occasional advocate of the Asp Scout, but these people are few and far between, about as common as a honest politician or a photo of Zachary Hudson where he doesn't look like someone slapped him in the face with a fish. So what is it, apart from unpopular? The Asp Scout is another Lakon ship designed and released to market in 3301 as an exploration ship that's able to get involved in a fight should the need arise. It's essentially a lighter variant of the excellent Asp Explorer for a cheaper price, but whereas the Explorer was based on the military-based Asp Mark II and transformed into an exploration powerhouse, the Scout was based on the aforementioned exploration powerhouse and had hardpoints removed among other things in order to convert it into a combat explorer. Is anyone else here seeing the problem? They converted an excellent exploration ship into a combat explorer partly by removing the guns. It's not like they even did a proper job of it either. If you look where the missing hardpoint should be, the panels are still there and not filled out. It's also slower, so it can't chase or run away as effectively, and it has lower armour and shields as standard, so it can't soak up as much punishment. You also get less utility mounts, so less space for shield boosters, countermeasures and the like. I probably shouldn't go on this tangent for much longer because every tunnel has a light at the end of it. Although when you take into account that you're also running smaller core modules than the ship that the Asp Scout is based on, with the exception of the power distributor, that light increasingly starts to look like an oncoming train. An oncoming train with spikes mounted on the front of it, because just being crushed by it might not be enough to kill you. So what's better? What did Lakon improve with the Asp Scout over the Asp Explorer? Well, for start, it costs about 2.6 million less credits than the Asp Explorer, which does go some way into explaining the reductions you get. This puts it more in line with the keelback than anything else, which is 830,000 credits cheaper than the Asp Scout. But this does make the Asp Scout look like a slightly more attractive proposition in direct comparison. Although whether it's better than the keelback really depends on what you're planning on doing with it, and if you're looking for a specialised role, there's probably something better in the same price range. But value for money isn't everything, allegedly. It might be in the early stages of your career, but when you've got enough credits in the bank to make Jeff Bezos jealous even after buying a carrier, it's all about finding the ship that's the right fit for you, regardless of credits. And with that in mind, the Asp Scout does have one thing up its sleeve: manoeuvrability, both inside and outside of supercruise, which really is one of the saving graces for this ship. It may not be fast, but it is extremely pointable, especially given that it's a medium ship, which means two things. The first is that you can sit on the tail of an anaconda and chip away at it with relatively little effort. The second is that this makes the Asp Scout excellent for gathering resources from signal-based material sites, and with the inclusion of Lakon's traditional bubble canopy, good for hunting out ground-based points of interest and biological life forms. Although the downside of Lakon's signature canopy is that it's very easy to be shot out. The enemy will just see it as a pimple that needs popping and act accordingly, so maybe not one to get into a jousting competition. Convergence on the hard points isn't bad either. They're not quite as tight as something you'd find on a Viper, but the placement is hugely better than what you'd get on the Cobra Mark III. As a combat explorer though, combat isn't the only thing to talk about. It's also pinned down as an explorer, and for this you could do worse. As with most things, the jump range is lower than that of the Asp Explorer, but not by a huge amount in the grand scheme of things, so it's perfectly capable. You can't fit in a size 6 fuel scoop, but you can fit in a size 5, which is more than capable of serving exploration needs. And with a size 5, you get enough time to grab a snack before your next jump, but you're not waiting around like you would be for the free Anaconda at Hutton Orbital. In fact, this ability is why I'd consider the Asp Scout over either of the ships from the Diamondback line, because the Diamondback Explorer can only equip a size 4 scoop and a Diamondback Scout a size 3, and whilst a size 4 is okay, size 3 scoops are slow no matter which way you cut it. Not necessarily bad if you're planning on using the time to scan new systems, but if you're moving through empty or known systems it can be a bit of a chore to use. Also, and this might be controversial, I think the Asp Scout looks okay. I prefer the stacked engine configuration over the Explorer's engines, although it's missing some of the flashier trim that the Explorer has. It's certainly not the prettiest ship out there, but it's not the ugliest either. Although it does from some angles look a bit like a tent. As always though, you can tot it up with a little bit of paint too. It does have the manoeuvrability and hardpoints to work for core mining, but at the same time your cargo capacity is tiny for a medium ship, with only the Mamba and the Fer-de-Lance having lower capacity in a medium frame. That cargo capacity also means it's not the best trader, but it is usable for rare goods given the jump range. Not exceptional, but usable at least. Although if you're in the early stages of your career, it's probably not a ship you want to go for. You probably want to save credits and get something a little more suited to whatever it is that you want to do. Although, despite being regarded as expensive for what it is, and don't get me wrong, it is fairly easy to get the credits together for a base model. For example, this one was bought with the proceeds of a AI generated Viper 3 with less than 1 million credits, during an evening where, well, let's be honest, I was bored. But for the most part, you can find something better for the same number of credits. There is a market for this ship, and that market is aimed at the sort of person who buys a crap car and modifies it into something actually decent with a significant number of upgrades and engineering. It's for the tinkerers that want to get something basic and try making it into something worthwhile. Not because they started with a good base and want to fettle it, but purely because they can, just to prove a point. And while this approach isn't for everyone, I can respect those who go down this path. Although I'm not sure I can respect this ship. If I'm wrong though, feel free to let me know. I'm sure there are some who would argue that this ship isn't for anyone, and really needs to be shot on sight for existing. Probably the same people that shoot people on sight for owning a docking computer. Either way though, it's not a ship for everyone. Thanks for watching, stay tuned as we've got to run through a chunk of ships still, with the next review being a big one with any luck. Also, if you're the sort of person who likes, comments, subscribes, shares, etc., thank you very much, it all helps with the algorithm and getting these videos out there. Until next time, have an excellent time, much love, and 07. Thank you.